No sé. And I'll check on my phone.
Here we go.
Mm, Preparing live stream in the meeting.
I see a little Facebook icon.
Ah. Ooh. We are live.
Oh, we did it!
I think just like doing the tech is already like, all right, see ya. Like,
Yes. We go through the portal and then
oh my
we land
God.
in live
Um,
stream land.
Welcome, bienvenidos to our live stream. I am so excited to be here with Patty Alfonso, my fellow Latina. I just want to do like one little check to make sure that I can see the comments. I'm just going to do that on my phone.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
then we are going to kick it off. Let me see.
Let's
Okay. Patty.
Amiga.
Amiga.
Caribeña.
Maybe we should do this in English. I mean, in Spanglish. In English.
Spanglish. We do it in Spanglish.
We
So
do it
if
in Spanglish.
you have questions about the words, just put them in the chat. We'll translate.
We'll translate. If it's your first time here, this is the Mind Blowing Intimacy series where I bring amazing guests to navigate different topics, share our personal experiences. We're looking just for different perspectives. We're never saying this is right or wrong. We just want to give you little bits and ingredients so you can create your own juicy recipe. With me today, Patty Alfonso is a healer, erotic priestess, and sex coach with over 20 years of experience in energy embodiment. Let me take a breath and sacred transformation.
I love
Creator of embodying the goddess and the orgasmic body love experience, Patty guides women to reclaim their pleasure, power, and divine union of sensuality, sexuality, and spirituality. Originally from Puerto Rico, Patty is a global speaker and a facilitator devoted to helping others live fully, turned on, alive, y libre, free.
Yes, yes. Thank you for that very sexy intro.
Oh my God, the words out of my mouth. So, Patty, thank you for coming and coming. And I know this is your intro, but tell us something that is important for us to know about you, or just whatever feels present as we initiate this juicy conversation.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. I do feel it's really important to let people know I am from Puerto Rico. I am half Cuban, half Puerto Rican. I am full on Latina. I come from a very conservative family, Catholic, like we never talked about sex when I was younger. And to me, that's important to know because having to get through that, overcome that, go beyond that has been an incredible journey in my life. Like I didn't just, wake up and just start talking about sex all the time. There were hurdles for me to get through to be able to be present in these kinds of conversations, like in a public forum. And that's why I wanted to talk about this with you because where are you from, lady?
Santo Domingo, Dominican
Yeah.
Republic.
So we're both from the Caribbean, and I'm
Yeah.
super curious about your journey around this as well. And I really also want to honor and acknowledge everyone that may be in this same kind of position. Our culture, I think, is can sometimes be, even though we are so repressed, and so there's so many rules and conditions, there's also this other side of just like extroverted energy around sex. And there's some of us that just kind of live in the middle where that kind of like super over extroverted is like too much, but then the quiet and the suppression, that's no bueno. So I wanted to give voice to those of us that kind of live in the middle. And I was just having a conversation with a girlfriend of mine about like vulva worshiping and being exposed like in groups, and so there's so many places we can go. Let me just stop there, and I do want to hear, like, as a Dominicana, like, what was it like for you as well, and how did you get to here where you are today as well? A lot. I can go on and on.
Yeah, but I just wanna, you made such a good point that we can be so open about it, but at the same time repressed about it. And I think that was the dynamic that I grew up experiencing. It was interesting because my mother would be someone that don't make sex jokes, don't, that's vulgar, don't, so nothing about sex will come from her.
Hmm.
And then my father had this dark humor, inappropriate, sometimes vulgar. Like he was very quiet. And then out of nowhere, he would just make like a. So I grew up seeing we shouldn't do it, but when we do it, there's such a response. So it's not important, but it's really important because I could feel people's reactions younger, like I didn't know how to articulate it, but like, why does my mom get so mad when my dad says these jokes? But why does everyone laugh so much? As if they could relate. So it was a weird pendulum.
Yeah.
And underneath that, this was not voiced, but there were three rules. Don't be a slut. No seas un cuero.
No. Yes. No.
No one's gonna respect you, so don't be too loose. Don't talk about sex too much. It was just like, and no one told me this. I just understood it.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
seas un cuero, don't be a slut. Don't get an STD.
Right.
Like don't get dirty
Yes.
and don't get pregnant. And those were like underneath. So there was like what I saw, and then what I felt like I don't want to be thrown out of the tribe. I don't want guys to not respect me or date me. So I must follow these unwritten rules. I think that was the initial.
So many. That is so brilliant. It's funny because my parents were the opposite of yours. My mom was the one that would make the jokes and be funny and whatever, but at the same time, same, like you don't, no sex until you're married.
Yeah,
Don't be a slut. Don't get
don't be a
pregnant. I don't even remember STDs being a conversation because you just weren't having sex, so that the conversation didn't even need to happen.
Yeah.
And then there was a girl I remember in my high school that got pregnant and hid it. And then she got kicked out of school. Like she got expelled. Like what kind of message is that? You
Because
know?
of that.
Yeah, because she was pregnant, like, oh no, you're such a slutty whore. You can't be around
Mhm.
the other girls because, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So for sure, don't have sex. When you have sex, only when you get married, and really it's only for your husband's pleasure. And you better have lots of sex with him or he's gonna cheat on you.
Oh my
And
God.
by the way, he's gonna cheat on you anyway because he's a Latin man. And it was just like, your husband va a tener una novia, entonces una chilla para la novia. That was just a given that that was going to happen. So in the midst of all of that, there was also this like incredibly suppressed rage and anger at that sort of fact that you were going to get cheated on no matter what you did. Um, and so, yeah, I remember like because sex, eros, energy, it's natural, it's normal, and your hormones start like coming up and coming alive. It's like, so of course I
Right.
had sex before I got married. Duh. Um, and I totally, yeah, she raises her hand. And I totally got caught. And it was as if I had committed the most mortal sin. Like I was grounded forever. My mom threatened to send me to Japan for boarding school to keep me away from my boyfriend. Like I was 16, I had a boyfriend. We like loved each other, Mira,
Yeah.
look at what I was about to say. This is the conditioning. It's not like I was out and about having sex with a bunch of dudes. Like, who cares? Like, that's the fucking conditioning. Um, and the girls that were really sexually free and having lots of sex, they were just slutty. And there was this whole energy around American women as well, as if they were so
Ah,
good and they were so slutty. Don't be like them. It was just like, what is this insanity?
yeah.
This insanity that I still have to continuously like break that programming that was just instilled, like you said, both verbally and
And
non-verbally.
non-verbally, like like a cultural understanding. Um, and I love that you brought up cheating because my father was a cheater.
So was
So
mine.
like,
I get it.
so then it was, and then I became that cheater.
Mm,
Because I
I've
thought
had it a couple
if
times.
someone's gonna cheat,
Yeah.
it's gonna be me.
Yeah, there you go. I'm gonna do it first. So
I'm
you.
not gonna be my mother who
Yeah.
like accepts it. So then there was this lesson of like he does this horrible thing. We all knew, there were stories, and he would even like say it. And then I think I made a decision of like, oh hell no.
Mm-mm.
Like, and it was, yeah, like I borrowed that trait
Mm.
just from like seeing, because he was the cool, funny, lighter, as opposed to more repressed, and so
Yeah. Yeah. I remember. So we, well, I was gonna tie it back to my mom because we all knew my dad was cheating. It was just sort of unspoken but known. And then
right.
I remember having a dream that I thought my mom had cheated on my boyfriend, and for some reason that felt so much worse. Like, oh no. So I'm curious of what it was like for you, like having been the one to cheat. What was that like in your system?
So much fun.
Yes.
It took me a
I love
while
it.
to have the maturity to understand what I was doing.
Right.
At the beginning, I just felt like I was the fun one, and I was following being fun, and I was spontaneous. And even as we were preparing for this live, I'm like, I just like to flow. And you're like, you like to flow, So I think I took pride in being like the cougar that could flow. And I, I loved it.
Mm,
And
mm,
it wasn't until later, until I hurt very deeply my second husband, that I was like, come on,
yeah.
like something's got to change. So there wasn't really an awareness. Like there was all these lessons, and I was moving through the world, but I wasn't conscious of what I was doing,
Right.
and why I was doing it, and the impact that it was having.
Mhm.
I was, and eventually maybe we'll talk a little bit about the blueprints. I just would get bored easily. I liked a lot of variety, and how can one person, but also you don't break up, because there's also that tradition, like my first boyfriend was like 7 years
Yeah.
from like third. So there was a thing of, there's what you do in public, and
Right.
there's what you do behind closed doors. And there's those two worlds where I was playing a role in each world. And I thought, that's what my father did, but that's what I'll do, So
Yeah,
yeah.
we had that big time in our
Yeah.
family as well, and it's been a real journey to break out of that into just being whole and complete in private as well as in public. Like we also
Mhm.
had this like perfect family, persona that we had to adhere to. We also were like, whatever we talk about at home and whatever happens at home, you don't talk about it in public.
No, la
Tell your
reputación.
friends, you don't tell people what's going on. So that has also been a real journey. And I think collectively, we're all on that journey as well of being more present, being more conscious, being more authentic, being more of who you really are.
Yeah.
And yes, let's talk about the erotic blueprints because I think that work is so important.
Yeah.
I came to the erotic blueprints because my business was about orgasmic living
Ah,
orgasmically. And I wanted to pull the energy of orgasms out of the bedroom so that people could embody it and live it in every moment of their lives with their body. And after a few years of doing that work, which I loved and still do, I was like, this is interesting that I'm not hitting the topic of sex, but I'm talking about orgasmic living. And the first thing people think about is sex, but I'm
yeah.
like avoiding this topic. This is interesting. And that's when I really started looking at my beliefs and my thoughts around speaking publicly and being open about this. And that's really how I found the erotic blueprints was because I needed that support
Yeah.
to unpack what was going on in that sense. And I love the framework of it and I love the freedom that it creates. I love that it what's the word? It sort of blows away your preconceived notions of what sex is and what it's supposed to be. And it opens the door for it to be a variety and for it to be different for
Yeah.
every body. So, how did you come to the erotic blueprints?
Um, so funny. I was doing like motivational speaking. Like I just decided one day I always through fitness and personal training, I was like they say like hairstylists, personal trainers, bartenders, we are the therapists. So I bartended and taught fitness forever. So I was always in that role of like listening and giving advice, like, organically. I remember just being really young and I would take my friends as projects, like, you're my project and I'm gonna analyze you. I remember my best friend saying, I don't want to be your project. I don't consent to this. Um, so I naturally gravitated, like I was getting tired of teaching fitness and I was like, I'm gonna start doing motivational videos. And I started doing these like motivational Mondays, motivation under 1 minute, and I just got really into it and really loved it. Um, and along that journey, right, I was getting more interested in like Esther Perel, and I joined Esther Perel's like private group where you can send cases like case studies of your clients. She has a speaker every month, and I was like, oh my God, Esther Perel should have like a certification, and I emailed nothing. That was the only way to like interact with her.
Yeah,
And she interviewed Jaya.
of course. Yeah.
And I was like, what is this? You know, what are these blue, like, what? And I just like, I remember I didn't even have money to like, I just like put the down payment on a card. And I was just, I have to learn about this. And I slowly started doing now motivational videos about sex and relationships. And we won't go into all that jazz, but through learning about the blueprints, I actually started learning about what was pleasurable for me, why I was cheating.
Mm,
Because one thing, we talked about what we learned, but what I did not learn is how to ask for what I need,
right.
how to understand who I am.
Yeah.
Like, sex just felt like very porn, very transactional. And I wanted to be the cool girl again that did everything. And I was never satisfied. And I think that's why I was cheating. So it was such a big kind of like, I literally say my life is like before and after seeing that Jaya interview.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and it has changed my life in ways that everything just got so much better by just having a vocabulary and
Yes.
understanding like, oh, no one taught me. you gotta like it wasn't a thing you didn't like understand, and it's been a journey ever since that I'm still on, but
Yeah.
I'm not cheating anymore.
I also think you're super satisfied now from what I hear in our little groups. Um, I love this. Yeah, that you just said it and now I forgot. But like that, no one taught me.
Yeah,
That's the crux right there.
yeah,
Now, before, for me, I've been a student of S Factor, which
right.
is feminine movement, for 20 years and a teacher for 5. And one of my fellow teachers had become an erotic blueprint coach. And that is how I sort of heard of this world. And I
What
had
was her name? I'm like,
Sam Fisher.
okay, okay, yes, yes, I
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah. So she started posting about all about this, and I was like, oh, what is that? That's interesting. What is that? So that's kind of what piqued my interest, and what I realized, like, wow, I'm not really addressing this topic. I would in private with my clients, like in our one-on-ones, but it wasn't anything that I was, putting out there. And for me, my S Factor journey was about my relationship with myself and with my body, and discovering my own way of moving and being in the world. Like that's what really was for me. And then for me, adding the erotic adding the erotic blueprints was okay, now how do I translate this to being in relationship with other? But that's what I thought. We're so cute. And then once I began that journey, then it deepened my relationship with myself. And then I learned in terms of sex of what my body desires, right? It's in relationship with other, but still
But
I
it's
started looking
yeah,
at how am I self-pleasuring? Oh, I self-pleasure like a sexual, but really I'm an energetic and a sensual. So what is that? Like what does self-pleasure look like for those blueprints? So really the expansion of what's available with your body and pleasure and ecstasy with the erotic blueprints is it's it's mind-blowing.
it is. I cannot stress that enough.
How
It's
else can I
yeah, I like how you tied it back to the self because so much is I'm bored. Is my lover not turning me on? Or like, we've been together for a long time. Like there's this blame of like the other person is in charge of your
Yes.
pleasure, your turn on. So it's really a
Yeah.
self-discovery journey.
And even with my clients now, there's still a lot of what you're just saying of like, I'm not pleased in my relationship and my husband this and my husband that and whatnot. And I'm like, okay, let's just take a pause here and reclaim pleasure, right? It's
Yeah.
not his job. Yes, you would like for your partner, him or her, to, have some knowledge and do their own work in this
Yeah.
area so that they can communicate, so that they know how to play the instrument. But you're the one that has to like say, hey, I like it this way.
Yeah.
I need more of this, less of that. This feels good. This doesn't feel good. But with my clients, I'd still take them on a little bit of a let's pull back the energy, come back into yourself, come back into your body, get to know yourself, and then you communicate with your partner. Like,
Yeah.
take a pause. I think there's also so much judgment about being in relationship and not having sex.
Yeah.
That's what I love also like about the states and the stages of the erotic blueprint work. Like it's okay to be in a resting or healing stage for however
Mm.
long that takes so that you can connect back to yourself. If you're not fully connected to yourself and to your body, it's just not going to be that easy, I don't think,
Yeah. Yeah.
to really create long lasting pleasure in your relationship. What do you know about
Mm.
it?
I like because you mentioned previously how you have to be available for sex and have it. If not, your lover is gonna cheat on you. So I definitely feel that there's a lot of shame when one partner needs to rest, needs to heal, because you feel like I'm not fulfilling my duty.
Mhm.
And that pressure makes the journey very foggy,
Yeah.
as to because there's a rush, right? Like I need to get back out there. And that can take you in a different direction. So there's just so much pressure to do it, to constantly do it. And people ask me like, what's the good amount per week? And it's such a question that actually of restraint.
Yeah.
It's, when there's so much breath and possibility.
Yeah.
So when you work with a client, let's say, and they're saying, I didn't learn it about anything, like, or I learned sex from porn. And I don't know, my parents had a video store, and
You're what?
my parents had a video store, and I would sneak watch the porn. And I, I don't know, but I think I must have been like 10 or 11. I could be wrong, but like this is, and I would watch it and get like so turned on, whatever. And what I learned from porn was women scream a lot. So when you have sex, you should scream a lot. If you make out, you should move your head. And there was this order of like kissing, neck, boobs, maybe oral both ways, penetration, finish.
Yeah.
Like a pattern.
Yep. Even
And I thought that was it.
Tokyo, where can I turn?
Yeah. And then you switch, you always do doggy style because doggy style is cool. So you switch and you do a few positions. And I just remember feeling inside of me when I first had sex, because it went like that.
Yeah.
Is this it? Like, is this all? I was so disappointed, but also didn't say anything. I was like, well, I guess this is it. So this is what we're gonna do. I didn't even question, oh, I didn't get what I needed, or I
Yeah.
just assumed that porn was right. And
Hmm.
I was just missing the point, or I just, so I don't know if you work with people that have learned so much from porn, but it's such a thing where to me, when I'm in my deepest pleasure, I may be completely quiet.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Uh,
I'm throwing it to you.
oh, this is such a topic. Because number one, I don't want to infer that watching porn is a bad thing.
No, no, no. Yeah. Thank you for that.
Um, and it can cause a lot of damage. And I really wish we had more conscious and aware erotica and porn out there. And it's not even porn, because I think even the sex scenes in movies are kind of like that. You meet,
Yes.
next
Yeah.
take you're up against the wall being kissed, next take he's just shoving it in, and then you came, and then it's over, and it's like a 2-minute scene.
You come together? I'm like, when did she get wet? Why are you in there?
Like, and listen, I think that I was a little bit scarred by porn, to be honest. I remember vaguely watching it when I was really young and having to like run out the room.
Right.
It felt painful in my body to watch it. And I was on a few dates with a guy, and we went back to his place, and he was like, "You want to turn on the porn?" And I was like, "Sure." I was like, "I'll try it. Let's see." And we turned it on, and again, it would like what they were doing hurt my body. And he was like, "Oh, she's loving it. And I could feel that she was not loving it. And he was like, "Yeah, she really likes that." Da, da, da. And I was like, "Oh, he thinks he's gonna do me like that." I like ran out of there so freaking fast. Um, so, it's not wrong, but if you make it your one and only thing, and if you think that that's the only way or the way sex has to go, then you're gonna run into some troubles, because that's not really how a lot of women, some women do, very
Yeah.
sexual, that blueprint, that speaks to them. That is for them. They freaking love it. That's the way to go. But there's, four other blueprints available.
Yeah.
That is not the way to go. And I've worked with clients where porn was their only education.
Yeah.
That's all they had in terms of sex education. And so having to retrain, the mind and the body to open to something different, that not everyone is going to be ready like
Right.
that.
Yeah.
And some people need a lot of foreplay, some people need a lot of teasing and anticipation, and that kind of rush is actually going to overwhelm them.
Yeah.
It's actually going to shut everything down. But like, they didn't understand, because, well, this is how porn's done it, and
Yeah.
this is how I've done it, and I think for people, I'm just going to say people in general, not men or women, because this conversation really isn't gendered in a way. Then I forgot what I was going to say. Everybody's body is different.
Yeah.
And everybody needs something different. And I love the way Jaya frames it, that this is about learning the language. What's there? And I always say erotic blueprint, it's like the love languages, but for sex.
Yeah, it's
So,
it's amazing.
yeah, so you want to learn your language first. How do you play with your instrument in your body? And
Yeah.
then you learn your partner's language. And there has to be that willingness, right? I've worked with couples where one is just not willing and they don't want to learn the other
Yeah.
language. They want you to learn their language, and that's a whole other
Yeah.
dynamic. That's a whole other
What would you
topic.
say to that? Because that's very common. And I have a theory about when one partner is not willing, but what do you say when people, I want to work on it, I want to expand, I want to, and my lover's not into it. I send him or her books, podcasts, and the erotic blueprint quiz. So what would be some of your wisdom when we have a resisting partner? Can you do it alone?
Um, I've heard that you can. I've heard of so what I say is bring the journey back home to yourself.
Yeah.
That is the only thing that you can control and be with and expand. Trying to control someone else's behavior is not ever going to go well. And the more you try to control them, sometimes the more they're going to resist.
Yeah.
Just bring this journey back to yourself,
Yeah.
empower yourself, be with yourself, with your body, communicate what you need, and let's start there. Um, Usually, in with the clients that I've worked with, like just the one person growing and expanding invites the other to come. They may not come as fast, pun intended, as you want them to. Boom, boom. Um, but sometimes they can. And really, it's like, do this for you, make the choice, grow and expand, and let's see what happens at that next step, because you
Yeah.
can never really predict. So then when you get to that next step, then you get to decide. You have choice in this matter. If you want
Yeah.
to stay, if you want to go, now if you want to open your relationship and have other lovers, like there's so many different choices available right now that really we didn't have these many choices 30, 40 years
Oh
ago.
my God, no. Like,
So that's like amazing. And
yeah.
there are some partners who are like, yeah, I'm fine that he's not on this journey with me. I'm going to do it on my own. And then, it's cool. Like, I can carry the weight of that. That's a personal choice.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to carry the weight with that. I grow too fast and like all the time. I want someone that's gonna keep up with me
Yeah.
to the best that they can, you
Right.
know. But I can't always be ahead and ahead and ahead and ahead. Like I want someone who's into growth and change as much as I am and that can do it quickly. Um, because I have a lot of work that I want to do on
I
this
know.
on a time. I don't have time for this shit. Okay.
This and this and this.
I got stuff to do.
We like geeking out.
So what's your take on that, on like partners, and I'd love to hear your
Yeah, I believe that you can start a journey alone, but you can't finish it alone. So like if it's gonna be together, so you're gonna start it if the person's not willing, but if what you really want is to grow together, you can be pulling someone. It's like if we're gonna go on a race, I cannot carry you
Yeah.
because I'm gonna get tired. That's gonna build resentment. So I always encourage clients, the work is always going to start with us first. But
Mhm.
if what you want is to be together, at one point they have to come on board because you're going to be just like the gap is going to get further.
Mhm.
And eventually they have to meet, we have to create a bridge. So you don't have to turn into the other person but at one point you need a common ground to connect. And if you don't have a way of building that, and to me that's built through some sort of willingness,
Yeah. Yeah.
that eventually it's too much. So I've never seen in my experience one person change the whole thing and carry it, because then there's maintenance, then there's expansion. Like, okay, and then what? What are we gonna do for the next 10 years? I'm gonna keep carrying you? Like that's so I haven't seen it. And I think eventually it's about connection. I'm
Yeah.
gonna say two people, whatever the group is, but eventually there's a ebb and flow.
Mhm.
Inhale and exhale, give and take. You can't just give, 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 give. It's so that's and I may change my mind about that, but I'm wary when people are like, my partner's not into it and it's been a long time. I haven't seen that
Yeah. It
turn
depends.
out well.
It depends on the person,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
person willing to do the work and keep doing it and
yeah.
allow for their partner. And I think also it depends, like how unwilling is this other person?
Exactly. So let's talk
So
about
if they're
nuance
just
and
like,
time.
I don't want to do it, but I'm willing to learn from you and grow and expand in that way. That's one
Um,
thing.
that's already a willingness. I'm talking
That's
about the
exactly. Yeah, if
nothing.
it's just like, I'm not interested, I don't care how you tell me you want to be touched. I'm gonna do it my way
I'm
because
not
that's
gonna
my way.
change. Yeah,
I
that's
don't
where I
know.
like,
Yeah. So it just, there's so many, this is not black and white. None of this is black
yeah,
and white.
yeah,
Everything
I
is
agree.
degrees and
Yeah.
spectrums and,
And bandwidth. So
yeah,
for some people, a 3-year resting period is too much. For
yeah.
others, it's not. I've also found that some people that are willing to go on the journey along for a longer amount of time needed that time alone anyway. So their partner being unwilling actually becomes an opportunity for
Mm-hmm.
them to have like an uninterrupted journey. So it
Yeah.
could even be a benefit. I
Mm-hmm.
just think that there's like a limit. And I
Yeah.
do agree that it's different for different people, you know. I recently heard someone they were resting for 6 years and they were able to turn it around and bring their partner around. So it's very nuanced and you're right. Everybody's different. And what's your capacity?
Yeah,
You
that's
know?
what I love about this work, though. And it's not, there is no cookie cutter
Yeah.
answer.
Yeah.
Um, it's just everybody's body is different.
Yeah.
Everybody's life experience is different. Every,
Sorry.
ooh, that's us.
I know.
Every person's individual experience brings so much to the table.
Yeah.
And that's why I also think it's not only is it not cookie cutter, it's not fast.
Yeah.
As much as we want to go, go, go and get it done, it's not always that fast. It takes patience and courage and
Time.
vulnerability and
Yeah.
intimacy and communication and it's building that foundation and those building blocks and it's a lifelong journey, I
It's a
think.
lot. Yeah. And I think that's the biggest misconception I see that is like we're great at the beginning and an assumption that you're gonna be great forever. Our sex life was great and an assumption.
Yeah.
This is such active, constant work. Um, and at least for me now in the topic of like long-term relationships, like I'm gonna hit almost 10 years with my husband, then it's like there's so many levels of like maintenance sex, mind-blowing sex, like the sex that just keeps you fit enough to like be ready. And then like I'm not a shapeshifter this month. I'm actually an energetic. So also how we change.
Yeah.
And my lover's like, okay, but we were doing this last month. I was like, yeah, but now we're doing something.
Yeah. Well, also I think my work with the feminine body specifically, we have hormones and we have seasons. Within just a month, you're going to meet one different person every week, and I think that needs to be honored. And yeah. Oh, I was going to say that I forgot. It'll come back.
But I love where you're going because I feel like we're also not, what are we taught about getting older and sex,
Yeah.
perimenopause and sex, menopause and sex? So should we just dip our
Yeah.
toes a little bit?
Let's do it because this has actually been coming up recently. I was teaching an S Factor class, and in the priestess, we were in the primal goddess moon, which is all about Shakti and sexual energy and boundaries and all the things primal.
Primal.
And there were some women who were like, "Oh, I'm past that stage. I'm over it. I haven't felt that in a long time and I'm okay with that." And that's fine if that's your choice, and if you're done with that, totally fine, honoring that choice. But then I also had another priestess who, came on camera after doing this movement and revving up all of that energy in the body, and her hair was like wild. And she was like, "Oh my God, thank you so much. I was so in this crone energy thinking that it was over, and I forgot, that this energy is still alive in your bodies." And I'm like, if you have a body, you have that energy.
Yeah.
It is available. It just changes over time. And, we've been told for so long that you hit perimenopause and menopause and that it's downhill from there. And men get that message as well. It's just downhill from now. It's over. You're done. Get ready to die. And I've seen people make that choice. Like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
old now. I'm going to die. I was
Yeah.
talking to a woman, she had just turned 40. And she was like, "Oh, I tried that. Can't do that anymore because I'm getting old. Can't do that anymore because I hurt my butt." And I was just like, what is
Yeah.
happening?
What is it? Like manifesting through your words almost.
Yes, you're literally, listen, your point of view creates your reality, but your point of view is also create your body. Your body
Yeah.
is listening to you and your thoughts and the implants that we've received that it's over and it's done with, and it's not, it doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
It changes. I've also, like, a woman, for me, my perspective is that a woman truly comes into her power after, like, once your cycle stops. Perimenopause is all about the shifts and the changes that are happening in your brain because of hormone fluctuations, and those shifts in your brain create more, like, you tap more into your intuition and your creativity, and then all this, like, baby making energy that you've been in, since childbearing years, like, that comes to an end. So then your creations, it's not just about creating a life form, a baby, let me say a baby. Now it becomes about creating different life forms, different
Yeah.
projects, different. A lot of the women that are my mentors um, are fucking just so much more creative energy now that
Yeah.
that part of their life is complete. So I don't think it's the end at all. If you want to choose that, I respect and honor that, but I think it's a whole second stage of life that we were lied to about.
I know. And you and I had a little conversation about it, which we have to do the forum, the like perimenopause, menopause forum. But I think it is a beginning, a type of a beginning, and I think something that maybe we're not taught is the conversations you need to have with your partner
Yeah.
about what's happening. Because I don't know, sometimes I would feel, I think I'm in perimenopause, I'm 43, so like you know, and you just feel like, damn, every month I have to like explain, like, oh, this is because it's also shifting, and it's
Mhm.
like, okay, are you bad? Are you like, is it 1 week or 2 weeks or 10 days, and how that changes? So also, I think learning how to have these conversations with your partner about serious hormonal changes can connect you actually deeper together, because there's a different holding of space that the partner that you have to have for each other, understanding that they're trying to understand something that's not happening to them, in the case of a heterosexual,
Mhm.
and also understanding, like, okay, what's available now. And I just want to say that I'm having better sex now at 43, in almost 9 years in December, than we did our first year, our second year. And the frequency has changed, but the quality that
Yeah.
comes from slowing down even more to like notice,
Yeah.
it's just I'm very satisfied, and I'm just so I'm excited. And I do want to mention that there's things like vaginal dryness and a lot libido dropping. So I think my symptoms have been different that have not been like that. So I do want to honor what, okay, but if my pussy's dry, like what do you have to say about that? Or if I don't want it. So I think it's an opportunity to learn new ways and talk and support each other. So
Exactly. And you know, I often there are some there are some physical things to perimenopause. That is not, you know, libido changes for sure. You know, your body is changing, your skin is changing, everything is changing. And I choose to look at that as an amazing thing that our bodies are capable of doing, that kind of inner transformation. So for me, perimenopause brought me deeply into myself on a completely different level than what I was doing before. Um,
yeah.
and oh my gosh, there's this thought that keeps coming and going that I'm like, oh yeah, I want to say that, and then it goes away again. I love it. Also, you know, brain fog, but all the
I was
things.
gonna say the flow of the
Exactly.
woman.
Like everything changes. And oh, it went away again.
But that happens in sex. Like, oh wait,
Oh, there it went. Oh shoot. Okay, now we gotta start over again.
seven, seven.
Oh my gosh, it was so right there. See, perfect in motion. Like I could get frustrated with myself, I could get mad at myself, or I could just be in awe of what is happening,
Yeah.
right? Oh, there, I'm gonna, emotional. Let me just, okay, I got it. I put it out there. I'm gonna say the complete sentence. You ready? So
I'm
there are
ready.
a lot of now you can help me remember. There are a lot of physical changes that happen. And I also think that perimenopause and menopause is a spiritual, emotional experience. Like deeply, deeply, if we could look at this time with reverence instead of, you know, the change being so bad. I think there's still a little bit of that happening, that marketing, that it's bad and look at all these horrible things that are going to happen. And I don't, like, a lot of people aren't talking about the beautiful gifts that are going to come.
Yeah.
And I remember, like, I don't remember because my mom never talked about it, but I can only imagine the suffering because she didn't have any of this information available to her. None. We have so much information now, so many people speaking up about what they're experiencing and what they're going through. And I have been a lover of bodies for so long, and I have been in awe of bodies for so long that when these changes started to happen, I approached them with more curiosity and awe. And I did my research and I was like, okay, this is what's waiting for me on the other side of this. So how can I navigate this with the most amount of, you know, pleasure as I can? And that's what took me deeply inward again, because the usual stuff, you know, wasn't working.
Isn't working.
And so, yeah, I mean, our bodies are just doing all of this work for us.
Yeah.
And there's more women in perimenopause and menopause now than any time in history.
Oh my
And I
goodness.
think I just got whole body goosebumps. I think that that is gonna change the world.
Yeah, me too, actually. And I love how you're focusing on the gifts, what opens up. And there is a, don't get me wrong, there's also really
Yeah,
quick aging,
yeah.
experiencing aging along with that. And I think
And
that
grief,
topic is coming up.
finish what you're saying, but I want to name it before I forget it. The grief that arises. But go on.
Yeah. Okay. I know this always happens. We're like at the end, and this is we're like, and the grief
Yeah.
is intense. I think there's many layers. It's not just like I'm having half flash of my libido. It's like, oh wow, I feel like I'm aging for the first time, and like that fucks up with my confidence, or like, so it's so layered.
Tired.
I want to put a pin on it for now, and maybe this is an opportunity for you to come back. But tell me what you were gonna say.
I just want to put it out there. What if you could turn your hot flash into an orgasm? We can just pin it at that. Where'd she go? Like, I remember the first time I had one, I was like, oh, I think this is a hot flash, and just allow, because it's just this inner fire of your body changing. Like, what if you could allow yourself to enjoy it? I love the sensation of sweat coming out of my pores. Oh, it feels so good. I don't know. I'm weird.
No, no, the reframe is phenomenal, and it reminds me of like uh Lemuria. I had her here, and she was talking about her teeth cleaning experience.
Yes.
So like I love the reframe of like hot flash being pleasurable, just so um thank you for that. I know you have to go to another session, so a part of me is like, you must come back and we have to do maybe part two if you're open. But just as we close, is there something else that feels present that you kind of wanted to name before you tell us about what you're offering and how to find you?
Yeah, I always want to, and I've mentioned it a little bit, but for me, curiosity, wonder, awe, innocence, those are all energies that I feel are so important. And if we could step into wonder and awe with our bodies, even with aging, like your bodies are transforming and changing. And wow, that your body can do that and that you get to witness it. I have a lot of mentors that are in their 70s, 80s, and 90s that I am just in awe of. And I'm like,
Right.
I want to look like her when I grow up.
Yeah, yeah. Evidence helps. It helps to see a woman already in
Like
the
Helen
embodiment.
Mirren, Dame Judi Dench, Mama Gina, Sheila Kelly, like all of these women are fucking like rocking. Jaya, I mean, they're all just, Angela, like they're just, and Anne, like it's just like, oh,
Yeah. I know. Ah! Let's do it. Let's do
and I
it.
think those energies, they keep that just the energy flowing and alive, and
Yeah.
aliveness is available to all of us at any age.
Yeah.
Any age. You said you're 42. I just turned 50. I've never been so more excited about life, even though this year has been a fucking year of the snake insanity, but I love it. Okay, time to peel, time to let go, time to just, strip away what no longer works. Let's fucking do it. So,
Yeah.
as many nuggets, I'll stop.
No, I love it. I think you see the reframe, it gets me excited. And I feel like the more we're in these conversations, like I was in the pleasure mastery call, and I was just getting so turned on. And like, so I think if you're a newbie or even an experienced person, just being in constant conversation, listening to other people's stories, different perspectives, like you can find so much. Sometimes I come to these talks and I just come for the turn on, so then I can bring that energy to my lover. So I come to like I get really
Exactly.
primed, as Angela says. Okay, let me stop because I want to keep talking to you, obviously, which is good. Tell us where we can find you. What are you working on? Give us all the deets.
Thank you, thank you. My website, pattyalfonso.com. And right now I'm really passionate about embodying the goddess, which is all about being that energy with your body on this planet in this moment, right here, right now. We need, we really need people to be fully present in themselves and in their bodies, not out there somewhere. Out there is great, it's wonderful, but both are really important. So embodying the goddess, just really coming home to your body it's been my passion for the entirety of my business. It's just a new flavor, including eroticism, spirituality, like making all of that just so yummy and delicious in all three realms. The body, your soul, and the divine. Let's bring them together. That's
I
my
love it. I wish you were giving S Factor in Croatia. So just throwing a little nugget that we have to do a retreat together where you come and teach.
I will be there. Let's do it. I've taught all over the world, so let's bring it. Me and my
Yeah,
will travel.
I want some patty in me.
Let's
Not in
do
me.
it.
Some patty in me.
Okay.
Okay, so you can, I can also, if you send me the link, I can drop it, or if you want to drop it in the comments. Thank you, Patty, so much. I love that. I want more. And
I love you so much. Thank you so much
this
for
was so great and so such an easy kind of a flow. So thank you. I just gracias. Words cannot describe how good this feels and how powerful. Like I have butterflies in my stomach. There's some tingles in my pussy. There's just good stuff going on.
let's do it. Let's do
I love you, and we're gonna see Patty soon because I have many ideas for us to collaborate, and I'm gonna seduce her into it. So
it. Do it. I am seduced and open and ready to travel. Let's do it.
okay, if
Mwah.
you're on or on the replay, please comment if you have questions. I'll come back. You know, Patty can also come back and see the questions. So this is an ongoing conversation. Feel free to send me anonymous questions, even anonymous comments. I know that not everyone wants to be out there, but wants to be a part of the conversation. So I want to be super inclusive. Share your thoughts, comments, questions, either here or private. We love you, and we'll come back with more juiciness on the next live. Ciao, ciao. Let's go.